everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Charlotte. I am a nursing student at AUT. I literally just finished my second year of nursing school in 2022, that was last year, and I'm about to start my third and my final year of nursing school this year. That's kind of crazy to me, like I've only got one more year to go, just one more year, and then I'll be taking the states exam, and then I'll be registered, and I'll actually be in the community looking after people. Like my brain can't even process how insane that is. Like it's just crazy, because I feel like the 2/3 of my degree that I've done so far have gone by really quickly, and I don't feel like I'm ready for this to be my last year. I feel like it should be a 4-year degree, honestly, but I'm almost done, and that's just insane. So today we're going to be talking about my second year of nursing school and my experiences and what I learned from it, just because I think it could be helpful for people going into nursing school, going into their second year. And also I just wanted to chat about it because I feel like 2022 was probably one of the worst years of my life yet. It was a pretty bad year. Like a lot of great things happened. I had so many wonderful opportunities and so many great experiences. However, I feel like it was one of the worst years of my life just because of how I was doing mentally. I was really struggling, especially in the second half of the year. I just wanted to chat about that because I feel like even though I was quite miserable for the last 6 months of it, I also feel like I really did learn quite a lot about myself and also about like what's really important, and that's why I wanted to talk about my second year and how it went. So before we do all of that, before we start having a little chat, don't forget to like and subscribe and do all of that good stuff. But for now, let's just dive right in. So just a little bit of background as to why 2022 was so miserable and just a huge adjustment for me. So we start the year off like right from the start of the year. It was just big change after big change after big change that I had to keep adjusting to. And I feel like because there were so many things that I was dealing with, I've never really had the chance to kind of fully settle and get used to the first change before I then had to start also adjusting to this new thing. And I also feel like I was for the whole year in a lot of denial about how upset and miserable and stressed I was, and so I didn't pick up on any early warning signs I had, and I also did not seek help when I was really bad because it didn't really in my head kind of click that I was deteriorating. As I say, right off the start, I moved out in February from my parents' house, moved into my own flat with my sister and my best friend Shannon. So this was the first time I've ever lived independently. I was adjusting to the new struggles and new experience of living by myself and actually being an adult for the first time. And then the following month, my parents then moved out of Auckland 2 hours away, and I became very homesick and family sick and just really missed them all the time. And then on top of all of that, my grandmother ended up having a lot of health issues that I was kind of trying to support her through, and that really affected me. It's someone that I love and I don't want to see them suffering like she was. So I was dealing with all of that. I then also had a huge social clash which lasted through the second half of the year, and that was like a main event for me because I felt really angry and upset. It kind of messed with my head a lot, and I found it very difficult to be around this person. I then also had my own health issues, so throughout the middle part of the year I became incredibly fatigued and didn't have any energy or motivation to be able to do things that I wanted to do, and it turned out I was incredibly iron deficient. I needed an iron transfusion, I needed iron tablets, and that was also really affecting for me. Like it's not the most serious condition in the world, and it's not like a really big deal, but for me, because it was affecting me so bad, it was a really big deal. And then obviously there's uni, and uni was kind of the snowball that turned into an avalanche. Uni, I think, was the biggest stressor for me. I had so many great opportunities this year, and I really loved what we were learning about, and my placements were incredible. I had a really good time on them. However, I would say my first placement and my last placement of the year, while I did enjoy them, I was also stressed the whole time. Because of that, I couldn't enjoy it fully. My first placement was on a general medicine ward. I really felt thrown into the deep end, and I was very anxious about it. Throughout the whole time, I was dealing with a lot of low self-esteem, I think, because I was dealing with a lot of thoughts of how I'm incompetent and how the wrong choice for me, I made a mistake in choosing nursing, how I would never be a good nurse. Like I just felt a lot of self-doubt, and I felt very low because of that. After my first placement, I think I was in denial about like how bad it had affected me. I had a 4-month, I think it was 3 or 4 months break between that placement and then my next lot of placements. And in those 4 months, I deteriorated so quickly. I didn't pick up on any warning signs that I was deteriorating. And when I was really struggling, I didn't feel like I was struggling enough to be able to seek out help, which is something that I really regret. So I was dealing with all of that. My second semester of uni started. I ended up feeling so low at one point with all of the stress that I was under that I kind of shut down for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I wasn't really leaving the house, and I could not go into uni. Like, I could not make myself go into uni. I was at home, and the thought of going into like a 4-hour lecture, I just could not deal with it. If I did go into my lectures, it would have been because I was like, I really forced myself to go in. As a result, I missed a lot of lectures for all of my free papers that I was doing that semester, and I ended up being really behind in all of them. On top of feeling quite depressed, I was then also dealing with the stress of being behind and trying to catch up and still get a good grade and everything. So that happened, and then my last 2 placements happened. My first placement was really good, the primary school one. The second one, my mental health one, was also good, but I was so ready for the year to be done. That placement finished on December 16th, so it was very late in the year, and I was just exhausted and I just wanted the year to be over. But yeah, as you can see, it was just a really big year, and a lot of stuff happened that aggravated all of the stress that I was under with uni, and that's why I just felt like it was one of the worst years of my life. That's the background of like what happened in 2022. I don't really want to focus on that though, because I feel like in the end it's actually turned out really good, because I've learned a lot from all of these horrendous experiences. I think from this year I have taken away 5 main things, and these are the 5 things that I kind of want to share with you and talk about. So the first thing that I think, like, you get told this all the time, but I think this year was the first year where I really like felt like it clicked, and where I really believed it and understood it. Time management is crucial, because if I had been a bit more prepared or had done more stuff to look after myself before my first placement, then I maybe wouldn't have had such a stressful experience. Maybe I would have slept better, maybe I would have eaten better, maybe I would have actually been able to use my days productively and not have felt so overwhelmed by everything. Also, if I had just gotten into my lectures, just gotten stuff done, just kind of pushed my way through it, then I wouldn't have been so behind, and I wouldn't have had that stress of being behind. So the first thing that I learned that was like a main takeaway for me was that time management is critical, and if you cannot time manage, you will create problems for yourself in the future. And when you create problems for yourself in the future, things will deteriorate and go downhill very quickly. The second thing that I learned from my second year of nursing school is the importance of having a really strong support system. So I am so grateful to my mum and dad, because, you know, they were always there to pick up the phone. Whenever I called, they picked up. If I needed to send them a message, you know, they would always reply. They were just there for me the whole way through last year. You know, they always had the best advice. They was the most reassuring, and I honestly feel like I would have dropped out if I didn't have that encouragement and that motivation to keep going for them. My friends as well are also incredible. And also finally, my uni friends. We have a group chat and we would help each other if we had questions about the degree or just about something that we'd learned. You know, we were there for each other. So having my family, my friends, and then my uni friends and that group chat was just crucial in me just getting through it and feeling like I wasn't at complete rock bottom. Nursing is a very intense degree, and having a support system is crucial because it just helps you get through. It just gives you that encouragement and motivation. It makes you feel like you're not alone. The third thing that I learned is that other people in my degree are feeling the exact same way as me, that I'm not alone in these feelings of anxiety and self-doubt. I feel like posting on YouTube has been really helpful, because I would sometimes get comments from other fellow nursing students saying, you know, I felt the same way as this, or I had the same experience as you, and it was just really validating to to know that this was an acceptable emotion for me to have, and that other people also were struggling through the same thing as me, that I wasn't alone in it. When you're studying your degree, whenever you're feeling stressed or you're feeling stupid or you're feeling overwhelmed, just know that you definitely are not alone, and there are people in your cohort, in your university, doing the same degree as you that are feeling the exact same way. The fourth thing that I learned from my second year of nursing school was the importance of looking after yourself, and especially knowing what your early warning signs are. I feel like I can pinpoint the moment where things started to go really downhill for me upon reflection, looking back now, and that was definitely that first week of my first ever placement on the Gen Med ward. That was when I, started eating McDonald's literally like every day and wasn't cooking for myself. I wasn't getting out and exercising. I was going to sleep at weird hours and waking up at weird hours. My routine went out the window, and just everything that made me feel secure and stable kind of just was thrown out the window. And that, I think, was the moment which things started to go downhill for me, and it all just started with those basics of not looking after myself just being completely disappearing. I also didn't realize what my early warning signs were until, again, I've looked back on it and kind of had some reflection about it. Things like, for me, feeling really tired, and physical feelings of anxiety, like having something sitting in my chest or having headaches and feeling like there are fluttering thoughts in my head. Those are physical early warning signs for me that I get when things are not going well and when I need help. There are also things like if I start deviating from my routine or feeling really unmotivated to get stuff done. Those are also early warning signs for me, and I feel like if I had known that, then I would have been able to latch onto it quicker, that something's not quite right here and that I need to actually be more proactive in asking for help and being more accepting that something is wrong. I think when we know our early warning signs, we can quickly nip it in the bud and just deal with it quickly and efficiently and prevent it from turning into something horrendous. And finally, I also learned just how resilient I am. I've never really thought of myself as a strong person because it's never been like an adjective that I would associate with myself. I don't ever feel particularly strong, or I don't really feel like I've got a strong personality or character, but after this year I really do think that I've got quite a lot of resilience and a lot of strength in order to be able to get through all of that crap that was going on throughout the year, as well as a nursing degree, and come out of it on the other side still relatively intact and stable. There were so many times last year where I really wanted to quit and where I didn't think that this anguish was worth it, and that there would be other things that I could do, and it wasn't cowardly to drop out or anything, but I just kept pushing myself through it. And I feel like that, to me, does tell me a lot about myself and who I am as a person, and I feel like it really does show that I can get through a lot and I can get through really, really difficult and traumatic experiences. And I didn't know that about myself until last year, even though last year was the worst year of my life. If I hadn't had all of those experiences and I hadn't had to deal with all of that crap, then I would never have kind of realized actually just how strong of a person I am. I'm grateful to have had those experiences, to know that about myself now, because now when I look at next year, I'm not so scared, because I know that if I can get through last year, whatever is thrown at me next year, even if it's more difficult, I can get through it. I learned the importance of resilience. Yeah, those were the 5 main things I learned, and that was my experience with nursing school. Again, I just want to reiterate that I really did have a lot of wonderful experiences. I think going into next year, and also just in the future in general, that's another lesson that I want to take away from this, is that every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day, and even the worst years will have incredible things come of them. So if you're struggling, just remember that it won't be bad forever, and there will be something good that turns up. Anyway guys, I'm going to sign off now before I ramble on much longer. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope it was informative or helpful or insightful, and that you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next Monday with a new video, but until then, have a lovely day and a fabulous week. Bye!
It's rated X. That means you're extra.